We took a 5-day, 4-night adventure out into the outback of Australia to go see Uluru, previously known as Ayers Rock, on an absolute splurge week trip and enjoyed every minute of it. We're going to tell you all about it. Where are we, honey?
We are in Ocean Grove community. It's a beach community just south of Melbourne, Australia.
Or Melbourne for you Americans.
Really enjoying our time here. If this is your first time here, I'm Steve. This is Chris. We are Eat, Walk, Learn. 3 years ago, we sold everything that we owned and put our clothes into a carry-on bag, and we've been traveling the world.
And if you like the Nomad life or think you might, go ahead and subscribe and watch all of our videos about Nomad life and all the things you need to do in order to be a full-time traveler. So we took off to the middle of the desert, or middle of the outback, to Uluru. Well, actually, the town is called Yulara, and then in Yulara, there is Uluru. And well, why did we go there in the first place?
Well, I mean, Uluru is just, it's an iconic, rock, huge rock in the middle of the desert. And it's something that I've been, reading about and seeing pictures of my entire life. And it's definitely a bucket list thing to do. If you go to Australia, we actually been here for almost 6 months now, and we almost didn't go. We were just like, this is just too expensive. It's not going to work within our budget. I'm really glad we did, and I'm really glad we spent the money and figured out some ways to make it more affordable.
And before we actually show you a bunch of pictures of where we were, we want to acknowledge thank you and respect to the Aboriginals who own the land. And we acknowledge that they have let us come to appreciate their beautiful sacred places. We did very intentionally try to make sure that the pictures we took were the ones that we were allowed to take. And if we show any pictures today on the video, it's completely unintentional. And that if we show you any pictures that are not appropriate, it's completely unintentional. And we did that with, we have the utmost respect for the wishes that you have asked of us. So, so the first thing we did is we flew in, we got the car, we drove to the resort. So what did you know about you learned a lot about the resort.
I did. So what's interesting is that Uluru, and there's also another rock formation called Katajuda that's fantastic, that's a don't miss. It's all in a huge national park. And within the national park, there's no place to stay. You need to stay about 20 kilometers outside. There is one resort that is owned by one organization, and there are different hotel properties on that resort that you can stay in a variety of different places, a variety of different price ranges. I think we nailed it because we stayed in a really wonderful hotel room in the Outback Hotel.
Outback Pioneer Hotel, right?
Outback Hotel and Lodge, I think it's called.
Okay.
We'll show you a picture of that. And we had a wonderful room. I thought it was really nice accommodations. I think we lucked out a little bit because our room was right next to the swimming pool, and it was great to be able to just walk out of our room and go swimming in the afternoon when it was really hot. But the facilities, I thought, were excellent.
Yeah, and there's a bus that goes around to all the different hotels and resort, and you can use any of the facilities. It doesn't matter where you stay, you can use all the facilities. So if you don't like the pool where you are, you can go to the nicer pool or whatever. And you can use all the restaurants too, so that's very nice.
Yeah.
So after we checked out the room, we got in our rental car and we went to Uluru for sunset. Holy cow. It's a little unbelievable is what I would like to say. What did you think?
Yeah, it's amazing. And it was just fantastic to be the first day to head out there to go get into the national park. And within a few minutes, we were just at sunset, just gazing at this incredible rock. And both of us looked at each other and were like, well, this isn't what it looked like in the pictures. This is incredible. It's got so much character and so much definition and just...
I mean, the first time you see it, it just looks like a rectangular cube. Where you see the pictures, you just kind of expect this rectangular cube in the middle of the desert. But then when you get up close to it, it's textures and its grooves and its canyons and its valleys and it's pockmarked and it's just, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And then you watch the sunset and the colors change as the sun sets, and it's just beautiful. So that was our first night. So then the next morning, The schedule when you're out at Uluru is definitely early morning and late night or late evening because it's hot. We were there during the heat season, which actually is coming to the end. Right after Easter is when it kind of cools off. But we were there. It was 100 degrees, 35 degrees easily. And so during the day you do indoor things or pool things, and then you catch the sunrise and the sunset. So the next day we got up early and did the sunrise opportunity.
Right. They really have the entire facilities. Everything is really figured out really nicely. So there's a particular place where everybody goes to for the sunrise. It's the best viewing location, and there's plenty of room. The parking areas, whether you're in a bus, they might be in a different spot than if you're in a car, so there's really not a lot of congestion.
Yeah, I like the way that they separate out the bus from the car, so you didn't have to deal with the big bus and all the crowds, and in your car you can kind of make your own way. Yeah. And there's an elevated platform that you can just get the best views. So that was fantastic. So we went back for sunrise, and then after sunrise we walked around the base of Uluru. So this was about a 10-kilometer walk. It took a couple of hours. And there's some places that you can't take pictures, which was fantastic. And then there's other places that there's some water that you can go take a look at that was really interesting. It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. And they actually, up until, I forget what year, we'll look this up, they allowed you to actually climb up on top of Uluru, Ayers Rock, it was called at that time. They're not allowed to climb on the rock at all anymore. So they closed off all those places. But the hike around it gives you an opportunity to see all the different features and just really
the grooves and it almost looks like the rock had been hit by a big whip or something. It's like these gouges that were in the rock that you can't see in the pictures. You have to get up close to see them, and it comes alive. I felt like the whole rock was alive and telling a story.
It does. It does. And it also is kind of, to me, a little reminiscent of my visits to Sedona and Arizona and some of the places. It's a very meditative kind of quality to it, just very feeling of spirituality and calmness. And the walk itself around Uluru, it's very flat. It's very easy. In fact, they have like Segway tours and bike tours and things like that. So we recommend
a camel. You can do a camel too.
Camel.
Don't do camels.
Recommend.
Animal tourism is never good for the animal. Anyway, we recommend the hike.
We recommend the hike. Was fantastic.
Yeah. So then the next day we went to Kata Now, Kata is the sister rock to Uluru. The two of them actually were an original mountain range, and then through a series of tectonic shifts and ups and downs and erosion and seas and no seas over 400 million years, this is what you have left is the Kata range and then the Uluru. Kata, if you know the Southwest U.S. and like Cathedral Rock in Sedona or Camelback in Phoenix, very much like that. Same sort of size and same sort of, you walk around and in it and through and up and over and around it and so on. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. I like Kata better than I liked Uluru.
Yeah, and what was nice about it is that it was a little bit more of a challenging hike. I don't want to say it was challenging, but you kind of caught up and you threw it. And what was the name of the particular hike?
Wind in the Valley.
Wind in the Valley, which is it's true. And we did it at sunrise. So you kind of come up through the rock formations, and the sun is coming up. These amazing viewpoints that you have, and everything is changing as you're walking through. It was really, again, a kind of a spiritual kind of experience for me, and.
And being at sunrise, there was hardly anybody there. I think we were the first people on the trail.
We were the first ones on the trail. Yeah. And this is a particular trail that we did that they actually close it during the middle of the day, particularly if it gets too hot. You're not even allowed on the trail.
Yeah. If it gets more than 35 degrees, they don't even allow you on the trail, which is often.
But there were a couple of spots along the way that there was actually water available and some shade. So,
speaking of water, I'm going to cover my different characters so that a particular company doesn't come after me for a copyright violation. But we're in a house that has grandkids.
Let it flow. Wait, how does it?
Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, so the next day, so we had pretty much done by the fourth day, we had pretty much done our share of walking around the rocks, doing the hikes, seeing the views, seeing the sunrises and seeing the sunsets. And we decided to take advantage of some of the free activities that the resort offered. This was really maybe one of my favorite days. We went to a bush tucker talk. So bush tucker in Australian means food tour. And the ranger came in and brought different samples and examples of the plants and the seeds and things, and told us how the Aboriginal people use these foods or use these products to make foods and shampoo and baskets and all kinds of things. I thought that was really fascinating. Yeah, and you like the honeypot ant thing. They actually, so they have these giant ants that climb up and eat the sap from trees, and then the kids come and catch the ants and eat the butts off the ants because they're really sweet with the sap in them.
They tried to make us believe that you could like bite the bottoms off the ants and then just put them back and they're fine. And
I don't know about that.
And you don't want to hold them too long because the ants will bite you first.
But that was a lot of fun. And then you learned how to play all right, I'm going to say it right, the
didgeridoo.
What was actually interesting was the musician that told us about the history of this instrument said it's only played in very minute, tiny areas around Australia, but there's 100,000 didgeridoos sold annually. It's the most unplayed instrument in the world because a lot of people buy them as souvenirs. But Steve learned how to play one.
I did learn how to play it. It was a great little event. It's kind of a class demonstration and learning about the history and learning some of the techniques and how to play it. And
you actually say
didgeridoo
while you're playing it in the thing. And women aren't allowed to play it. Actually, it's very controversial. Traditionally, women weren't allowed to play it. And so they don't teach women how to play it at this particular, I mean, they don't tell you not to, but it's disrespectful for the women to play. So anyway, we didn't want to cross that cultural canyon. So Steve learned, and they gave us these percussion instruments for the women, kind of like large drumsticks to play and beat with the music. It was fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm an expert, but I got some kind of sound out of it.
Yeah, some kind of sound.
It's like learning how to play a trumpet. You know, you have to have your lips moving in a certain way and around, and your breath going a certain way to be able to get the volume and the sound. So if anybody's played bagpipes or trumpet, you would probably do pretty well with this. Yeah.
And we're going to tell you all the costs in just a minute for all the things that we did. And then we enjoyed a lunch in the local restaurant my salad had some of the local seeds, the wada seeds in it. So that was neat to taste some of the foods. And then we just kind of relaxed at the pool and enjoyed the rest of the time.
Yeah. We did. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else.
And then we had, and then in the evening we had the local musician play at the outdoor barbecue. So that was really nice. Music,
which was really nice.
Yeah.
So it was a great opportunity to not only be doing some really iconic kinds of hiking and adventurous and types of things, but also to really relax and enjoy the community and enjoy the resort where we were staying.
So I do want to talk about the flies for just a minute. I know there's a lot of flies. You need a fly net. We'll just say that.
Wait, let's do it.
It is non-stop. I mean, don't think you can get by without a fly net. Spend the money, get the fly net. We got ours for $2 at the local chemist. And
we did. They sell them at the resort for $12, and it's worth every
penny. If you forget one, you can get one there, but you'll pay 10 times the price. But anyway, you get one. Okay. So there were some things we didn't do. There's a ton of activities to do in the evening. There's sunset dinners. There's the Field of Light. There's stargazing, all these things. They were very, very pricey. When we looked at whether or not we wanted to get a rental car, we looked at the price of things. I mean, just the basic transit from the airport to the resort, transit from the resort out to the different rocks, transit to get to the hikes. Everything ended up being about $150 to $200 per person per event. Yeah. So that's when getting the car really started to pay off. So why don't we take a look at what the costs were? How's that sound?
Let's take a look at the cost.
So we flew from Melbourne to right into Uluru, and that was $526, and this is US dollars for the two of us to fly round trip from Melbourne to Uluru. Now you can fly into Alice Springs. Now if you look at this map, you'll see that Alice Springs is about 3 to 4 hours away from Uluru. And you have to drive it, and you just eat up your cost in the driving. If you go to, and I don't even know how you would stay in Alice Springs, go all the way out to the sunrise and sunset, and then drive back every day. I mean, you just couldn't do it.
Yeah, and then this was kind of an aha, for us as well, is that there's an airport right there, so you don't have to fly to Alice Springs, which is the next closest big community with an airport. You can fly right to the resort. Yeah. Well, everything is within like 10, 15 minutes.
So you Americans, it's like the difference between flying into Vail and Denver in order to go skiing. So you can decide whether or not, which decision you would make, but it was the same type of decision.
But the prices were, it
wasn't that much different.
It wasn't that much difference in prices, but you save the amount of money easily because you're not trying to drive all those long distances in the mileage and the gas on the car and the time that you take.
Yeah. Okay. So then so here's our first hack that we're going to share with you. So as Steve said earlier, the hotels, there's 5 different hotel price points at the resort, starting with campgrounds and going up to luxurious rooms.
Yep.
And they price out at about $300 US dollars a night and go up. And I mean, camping, I think, was 200 and something. So anyway, it's very expensive. So, and that doesn't include anything except the room. So we actually looked at our Chase Ultimate Rewards points and went into the Chase travel portal and found that there was a set of rooms at the Outback Pioneer Hotel. And we booked there. So it cost us 58,000 Chase points, which was the dollar equivalent of $724 for the 4 nights. Now, if you do the math, you'll see that we actually beat the rack rate with the Chase portal value, if that makes sense. So if we would have had to pay cash rather than use the Chase points, we would have paid about, I think it was $275 a night for the nights that we were there, which was during the low season. Right? Do I have that right? Yes. Just say yes.
It was a good redemption. I mean, we look at this all the time. For those people who do a lot of point hacking, you want to know, if I'm going to spend my points, am I getting a good deal rather than, paying cash? And in some cases, we'll just pay cash. But in this particular case, using our Chase points made a whole lot of sense. And we booked it.
Yeah. And I think we ended up saving about $50 to $60 per night on our Chase value. So if we would have paid cash, it would have been $60 more a night each night, but with the points, we got it for cheaper. So not only did we get a cheap rate, but we could also pay with points. So that took our hotel price down by $724 at least. Okay.
Right.
Next up was the car. We had got the car for 5 days. It cost $384. And again, these are US dollars. And that was the cheapest car available, and we priced that out over a couple of months, and that was the best price we got. We got it through a dollar rental car.
Yeah, and again, we're comparing that to what it would have cost if we had to have transportation. We had to pay for the excursions. We couldn't even have done the things that we wanted to do because, all of the excursions were, you'd be in a group of 60 people, and you got to meet at this particular place, and you're going to go to this parking lot. And and do this.
And you only have 2 hours, and
So there were certainly hikes and times and things that we wanted to do that we could have only done if we had a rental car and we had our own transportation.
Right.
Not even talking about the cost, because the cost would have been way more if we had tried to buy guides and excursions to do the things that we wanted to do to take us where we wanted to go.
So, and with the car, they only gave you 400 kilometers that you could drive, or 100 kilometers a day. So we had 400 kilometers and that we could use it for, which was like just enough to do everything. I think we had 10 kilometers left of space by the time we got back to the airport. We spent $42 US dollars in gas. There's one gas station out there. The price per gallon was $2, or price per liter was $2.80 a liter. The going rate in Melbourne is about $1.80 a liter, so it was about $1 more a liter out there.
And that's in Australian dollars.
Yeah, in Australian dollars. So $1 I don't know. Someone else can figure out the math. Okay.
Convert it.
Groceries. They had an IGA out there. It was actually a very well-stocked, nice IGA and had really everything that we wanted. Our hotel room did not have a microwave in it, but there was a communal kitchen that had burners and microwaves and
sandwich maker,
a panini maker. You could rent a bucket of utensils and plates and pans and things for 10 Australians of $6 a day for a bucket of things. So you could cook your meals. We figured out, we went to the grocery store and we were very strategic. We figured out that we could, the first night we could buy some frozen dinners that were in a bowl, and then we could use that bowl for the rest of the week to use as a serving thing. So anyway, so we went to the grocery store. We spent $91 US dollars for groceries that was 4 dinners, 4 breakfasts, and 4 lunches and snacks. So, and we basically went to the communal kitchen, used the microwave, and prepared our dinners and meals and so on. Or just, we had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches a couple times. And that was compared to, we did have one meal there. We went out to lunch at one of the restaurants, and we both, what'd you get?
A salad.
Yeah, you
a
got
Caesar salad with no protein
meat
on it.
Yeah, just lettuce. And then I got a pumpkin feta cheese salad, and that was $30 US just for the 2 salads. And they were not big. They were like appetizer size.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea, you see, we spent a lot of money in the grocery store for 4 or 5 days, but each meal for 2 people could easily have run you $60 to $100 US for just one meal.
Yeah, we didn't have drinks, we didn't have any, just the salads, and it was So I mean, they have the field of night. What is the big the sunrise dinner, the big sunset dinner? That's $200 a person.
Yeah.
So it's an event, but anyway.
And, so we're doing things a little bit more on a budget. If you're not on a budget, there's fabulous restaurants. The food is delicious. We highly would recommend.
And if you want to try some of the bush meats, the kangaroo meats and so on, those are certainly available for you. At our hotel, there's a barbecue. You could pick your own slice of meat and barbecue it. And they had all the different bush meats and cows and things. Being vegetarian, vegan meat. Yeah, we didn't eat those. But anyway, it was fun to watch the people cook them and enjoy them. And then we also had to buy a park pass. So the park pass, you each needed one. It's about $25 US dollars per person. So it was $50 for the park pass. It was only good for 3 days, but you can get it extended for free. So they extended it for the additional 2 days that we needed it, which was nice. So the total price of our 5 days, 4 nights, drum roll, was, and this is in US dollars, $1,396 with hotel points. So that includes with the $58,000 hotel points. If you actually pay cash for the hotel, which for us was $724, the price is $2,120 for 5 days. So that's your round trip air, your car, your hotel, your groceries, and and then the most important thing that you have to buy is $2 for a hairnet or hat net.
you need the bug net. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we kind of hacked the hotel, so it would be more for you. If
this price is the cheapest, unless you stayed with friends or something, you know, out there, and someone drove you around. That's probably the cheapest that you could ever make do while you're out there. So what do you think?
Was it worth it?
You and I disagree on this, I think. I'm glad I did it. I love the Southwest, the U.S. Southwest. We loved Wadi Rum and Petra and Jordan. I love the Red Rock. I love that. I mean, that's my favorite geology, and my favorite place to hike in the world is in the Red Rocks of the world. I don't know, for $1,700 for 5 days, that is a lot of money to go for a couple hikes in the red and the bugs and the heat. I don't know. But you
I think it was iconic. It was a must-do bucket list type of thing. Yes, it was expensive. I would do it the same way again.
Okay.
I think another way that we could have done it that could have cost less, and here's the tip, is that if you break it down per day, we were there 4 nights, 5 days. And if you kind of condensed it and said, well, I'm going to do all my hiking within in 24 hours and get in and out as fast as I can, you could certainly have,
I think the minimum you could be would be 3 days, 2 nights. I think that by the time you get in, you could do the sunset, sunrise, the hikes, and then leave. Yeah, that would be 2 nights. So you could definitely do it in 3 days, 2 nights. You'd have to rush around and do stuff, and maybe miss a few things.
I mean, but I talked to a guy that was there for more than a week. They were going to be doing a bike trip. They were going to be doing a helicopter tour.
And the Field of Lights, and all the dinners and wine tasting, and I mean, you can make a vacation out of it. A really rich and expensive vacation out of it too. So. All right. If you have enjoyed our Australia content, we actually have a link right here for all of our Australian content. We've got Tasmania, we've got Sydney, we've got Brisbane. If you want to see more of our Australian stuff, take a look at there. In the middle, you see that little cup of coffee. Why don't you buy us a cup of coffee? We spend a lot of time and effort putting these videos together. We love that you watch them. We do them for you. Whether you buy us a cup of coffee or not is irrelevant. But if you'd like to buy us one, a couple would be nice. $10, one for him, one for me. And I'll go and I'll have a soda water and you'll have a tea. It won't be coffee, but
can I get a croissant?
Maybe. It depends on how much. People will give us $20 a piece. Anyway, thank you, everyone. We love that you're part of our life, and we love that we share these videos with you every week. Come back next Sunday. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but we'll be sure to be thinking about you as we get these videos together. See you then.